I feel like I'm in a war. I feel like I'm in a one-man war against ageism. So I'm tired of it. And I don't like the term. I don't like the word student. Because to me it's kind of like when I think of student, when I think of the word student, and I think of school, I think slavery. Like the 12 years of schooling, 12 years of slave. And I feel like it's just very ageist. School is just very ageist and very problematic. And there's not, I feel like I feel ageism in it, but I feel like there's no real proof or evidence of it. But I feel like the feeling there is already proof enough. But the thing is that I feel like people don't do enough to fight ageism in our society, in the United States of America, in Louisiana, Acadiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Oklahoma, all over the United States, and not just United States, but the Western Hemisphere, and not even the Western Hemisphere, but all over the world, and maybe not even the world, but the Milky Way galaxy, and maybe not even the galaxy, but the whole universe. People should fight. Everybody should be fighting. People should be rallying. People should be rioting right now. I don't get why people don't riot. I don't get why people don't fight. I don't get why people don't protest. And people should be protesting everywhere. Japan, South Korea, China, Russia, Mongolia, protesting everywhere against the injustice, unjust systems, unjust tyrannies. I don't get how people don't. I don't get how people just blink their eyes and not care. You should be caring. You should be thinking about everybody and everything. People need to be more aware. I say hyper awareness is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a blessing. But I also have to say this: obedience is not a virtue. If one thing is a virtue, and for sure is disobedience, and rioting, and rising up and showing your rage. Your rage against the machine. Your rage against the system. I have to say rage against the machine because that band is stuck on my head. Talking about killing in the name of. Well, I'm killing in the name of fighting ageism. That's what I'm killing in the name of. I'm killing in the name of getting rid of tyranny. I'm killing in the name of North Korea because I stand with South Korea, and I stand against communism. I stand against people that don't have the money, like good money, good pay, whatever. I stand against all this stuff that's going on in the world that don't feel right, and this whole coronavirus thing with the paranoia and whatnot, So I have enough of paranoia. I have enough fear. I have enough terror, and I feel like long as you live in your life, you should never really have to fear anything. You should have freedom from fear, main freedom from fear, and people should know what the hell freedom is. Freedom of speech, freedom of choice, freedom of movement. Freedom of movement is your government not telling you to, oh, you can't leave this city, or oh, you can't move out of your house and leave the country or whatever, because that's what freedom of movement is. Freedom of movement is essentially being allowed to go anywhere, not just with your own 2 feet, but anywhere on any transportation, car, truck, bus, bike, whatever. That's what freedom of movement is. And a lot of people right now do not have freedom of movement. And I feel like people should talk about freedom of movement more often. Especially in China, especially in North Korea. People can't even move from city to city. Because in countries like those, communist countries like those, they can't leave. And not just that, but the whole Cuba thing. And I stand with Cuba, not the Cuban government, not the dictatorship of the Castros, Fidel and Raul, but I stand with the actual people of Cuba. I stand with people that want peace and freedom and democracy, And you fight and you keep fighting and you keep fighting and you keep fighting, and it just never stops. You keep fighting because you need justice. And when people finally wake up, and when people finally break their conditioning and realize stuff, then I don't know. We'll probably live in a good world, hopefully. But people just don't. People just stay asleep. Right now, I consider myself to be woke. I consider myself to be woke the hell up because I know about ageism. I know about all these things and how people don't understand and people don't talk. People don't understand and talk about these things. I feel like they just don't know, and that's the main thing that's not good. Is not knowing something. Main thing that's bad is just ignorance. You know, stupidity. It's kind of like what Albert Einstein said. Only two things in the world or existence or whatever, I'm paraphrasing a bit. Two things in the universe are infinite. The universe and human stupidity, and I am not sure about the universe. He said he is not sure that the universe is infinite, which I feel like you're seeing like so many scientists that say stuff about the universe and black holes and whatnot right now that I feel like the universe is infinite, and I feel like it felt like time is not linear. Time is literally circular. If time is not circular, then explain to me deja vu. Explain to me jamais vu. Explain to me feeling like you did the same stuff over and over and over in repetition, repeating yourself. You know, practice makes perfect. Explain that to me. You know, how you just don't play a song on saxophone and get that song right the very first time. You know, it's kind of like what I always say: the first is the worst. The first time you do something is the worst time that you do something. You know, when you do it for like the 31st time or 201st time, that's when you start getting better. But it shouldn't take that. It should be one and done. But a lot of things in this world are not one and done. So time is not linear because we keep going back and we keep repeating history. So many of the same things keep happening to the same people. All this injustice keeps happening to the same people. You know, they got the stuff going on right now in China and in Afghanistan right now. Look at what's going on in China with the Uyghurs and the Tibetans. Right now, people don't talk about free Tibet. Right now, people don't talk about Yan Bian. People don't talk about Otto Warmbier. People don't talk about stuff going on right now with Korea in Japan and in all of Asia. People don't talk about India. People don't talk about Myanmar. People don't talk about Vietnam. I don't hear anything in the news about Vietnam in their communism. I don't hear anything. The American news needs to just step up and talk more about the world. What the hell is going on in the Philippines right now? What the hell is going on with Duterte right now? What the hell is going on in Liberia? What's going on in Siberia? What's going on in Germany? Angela Merkel is still chancellor. What's going on with that? And I do look at the news, but people need to say all this. People need to say